Listen, let's get the pleasantries out the way. I'm quite happy and always honoured to be joined by Craig Richards, one of the fighters that I will say I've got a lot of time for. And I'm going to say why, Craig. So give me a little minute to introduce you properly. Now, Craig Richards has been a fighter that's been
You
on my
take your time.
radar for a long time. The fact is, obviously, related to Danny. We get on as well. But one of the things I will say about you, Craig, is you're all the way out in Saudi. No doubt you're going to be doing
Yes.
658 million interviews. I get it. It's a really important card. You could almost argue this is sort of like a world title fight. There's a lot of risk v reward on this whole card because it's not just you in the ring, it's a team effort. So when I say I appreciate you
Yeah.
giving me your time today when you didn't have to, I just want you to know that I genuinely appreciate that because I've contacted geezers down the road and they ain't got time.
Yeah. I've always got time for you anyway. You're one of the real ones in boxing. I gotta appreciate you. I appreciate every real honest person, and you're one of those. You get some people are fake, and I don't have time for them.
You can spot them a mile off. But listen, enough of the ego Robbins. We know what is going on this week, Craig.
I
And I'm going
thought
to
I
go.
get, I thought I get more.
Well, you know what it's like when I see you in person. I'm on that when I see you in
I'm
real
joking.
life.
I'm only
this,
joking.
this week, I know there's a bit of an internet delay. So, guys, can you bear with? Obviously, Craig's out in Saudi. Obviously, I'm here in the UK. I did want to do a live, but I wanted to have a bit of respect for you, Craig, because there's a lot of pressure on the whole of the Matchroom team. It is literally Matchroom versus Queensberry. So I just thought if it was
Yeah.
interactive, it'd just be too much noise, and you just want to concentrate on let's get this fight done and dusted and really win in a credible fashion. So over to you,
Of course.
Craig. Talk to us about this
Yeah.
fight and why we need to tune in. I've just bought my pay-per-view, by the way, but why we need to tune in and watch you guys on Saturday night.
It's the first historic event ever of Frank Warren versus Eddie Hearn. We all know the back history. We all know the grudges throughout years and years and years. And now they've found a way to settle the whole problem. It's you get five of yours, I get five of mine, and we'll see who's got the best promotional fighters. So for us, it's very important because we're the fighters signed to that company, and we want to show the company ourselves that you didn't make bad choices. Like you made the right choice signing us to your promotion company. So, and then also them putting us on the show, Eddie choosing us as one of his five, considering he's got like 200 fighters. We want to say you made a good choice. I'm a good choice, and I want you to know that was a good pick. And I'm going to deliver and show you why you chose me. And it's also a way of showing my appreciation and thank you when I get him the 2 points.
This is what we like to hear, and it's that positive start off. When I was at the press conference, because I saw you there briefly and then you dipped off, because obviously they had two press conferences that week.
Yeah.
The only thing that kind of I look back on and I thought at the time, as I thought you would have been team captain. And I'll tell
Yeah.
you, I'll give you my reason why I thought you would have been a team captain. And it's just basically a reflection of Frank Warren choosing Hamza Shiraz, somebody that he's been with from the beginning, that kind of like loyal fighter that's always turned up, never turned down a fight. So when I saw that, I thought, okay, Craig
Yeah.
Richards. I just thought, yeah, I thought that was the name I was going to hear. But
I
then
feel
I
like
kind
my name would, I feel like my name would have been in the hat, but with Wilder coming, with his profile, with his incentive to get him to get up for this fight, we know he can be dangerous. We just know he needs some incentives to be dangerous. So I think it was a smart strategic move more than Craig's been with us from the beginning, the longest probably matchroom fighter on the team. I think it was more of a strategic, smart move from Eddie.
And I hear that as well because obviously, Deontay Wilder is coming off a loss against Joseph Parker. You want to make him feel good again. I'm learning it all the time, Craig, that boxing is it's not just what you guys are doing in the ring. It's all up
Yeah.
here. It's all of this. And talk to me about that. Teach us rookies about what really goes on in boxing. 'Cause sometimes I think we just think you guys, put your gloves on, go in there and make it work. It's not just about that, is it?
It's a hard sport, and to give 110% to it, it takes a lot. So sometimes fighters may not necessarily give 110% because it's so hard. They think, look, I'll push myself 90% and get myself prepared for this contest. But that's people who do that. That's 10% they know they've slacked on. When you highlight that, that is the sort of things that creep doubts in their head. So you need to like really press, see if they've left any stones unturned. And if they have mentally, they'll break. So it's more of a mental thing, boxing. That's why I make sure I always turn every stone. I make sure I do the work so I can go in there fully confident. And I always think to myself, if I've done everything and I've come up short, maybe I just wasn't good enough that night and I need to go back to the drawing board and learn, or maybe I just made certain errors. It's not just because I didn't train, it's just I didn't maybe stick to the game plan or strategic things in the ring, but it's never because of I've never worked hard enough.
Where is that fine line then, Craig? And I've seen some fighters, that absolutely live the life. Don't get me wrong, they may get the wins, but it lacks something. So where is that fine line between obviously this hard graft and getting yourself mentally ready to go in there? Because you guys, there's more pressure on you now. You haven't got to
Yeah,
just win. You've got to get a
yeah,
highlight reel. You've got to get numbers. And it's almost like the big bosses are standing over you saying, listen, I don't want you to just win. I want you to
yeah,
wow the crowd. You're an entertainer. So
yeah,
just in your training, you're out there running, you're doing
yeah,
pads, you're sparring, and then you've got this other voice that's creeping in thinking, I need to get paid again, so I know I've got to put on this show. That
yeah.
like on this it's sort of like the devil on your shoulder. You got the angel and the devil, and that one's in your ear saying, remember, you still got to do this.
Yeah, well, there's two ways you can look at things when it comes to these sort of fights. You can look at it like, sugar, I'm under pressure. I've got to deliver. How am I going to deliver? Oh, I better step up my game. Um, or you can look at it like, I finally got the platform to show everyone what I've been doing in the gym. So now I've just got a platform to show my ability. Thank you for giving me the platform to show what I've been waiting to be doing my whole life. And there's two ways you look at it. And it's like, if you're at work and you're blagging it and you work in an office and they say, and you don't know what you're really doing, and they say to you, today we're going to assess you and see what you've been doing, you're going to panic because you know you're not really ready for the position. But if you're someone who's been working hard and over and the bosses have not been noticing you and you've been smashing your job and they say, today I'm coming to sit with you and assess you, I'm thinking, yes, now I'm going to get my appreciation for all the hard work I've been doing. You're going to now see it. And that's how I look at it.
I rate that, and I've never looked at it like that before. So it is literally, it's that grafter saying, I just need the platform. I just
Yeah,
need to be able to stand up in front of everybody and show them what I can really
yeah,
do.
100%. And that's what it is. And now I'm getting a platform, a biggest platform to go and deliver everything I've been working on in the gym. I'm just excited. I'm looking forward to it. I've got a good operator in front of me. So it's will bring out even the best of me. People will know it ain't just a journeyman who's just there to get beaten up and I got to showcase my skills. They know it's a live wire in front of me, determined, willing to win, world champion as an amateur, decorated. So they know he's coming to bring it. So when I dismantle someone of that caliber, people go, oh, yeah, I see what you've been doing in the gym. You're looking good. And that's how I'm taking it.
And these are the things that we do like to see. You've been with Shane McGuigan, and I'd like to say hi, Shane. Shane won't give me an interview, he said, until Bilham Smith beats Riakporhe. Then he said he's going to make sure he gives me the first interview. So this is a special hi to Shane. I get it. I understand, and I expect nothing less. But I've got a lot of time for Shane and a lot of time for Chris. The gym
Yeah,
is fantastic. But you've recently moved to Shane, and I was one of them. I think I did a watch along for it, and it was like when you fought Boris Crichton and like the way
yeah,
you stopped him, I was out my
yeah,
seat, just really happy for you. A fighter that's is, you're the guy that always steps up. I always say this, you're the man that will say yes to anything. So it was nice to see that knockout. But you
yeah.
talk to me about that fight and how it was for you. Boris Crichton, I'm talking about.
Yeah, because it was like there was rumors of me doing the 5 versus 5, and then it was like I've been out the ring nearly 2 years, and I was
Rumors.
like, and it was like Well, if I do end up possibly going to do the 5 vs 5, obviously I need to shake off a bit of ring rust before, because I've been out nearly 2 years. By the time 5 vs 5 came around, 2 and a bit years, you don't really want to be doing that in a competitive 50-50 fight. So obviously Frank and Eddie presented to me to get the run out on that show, and it was like, okay. Then it was like Boris Crichton. I was like, oh, it's not much of a run out. I thought maybe, you bring over a Latvian or something for me to get
Nah,
the ring
bro.
rust.
Nah.
You know how it works. We need entertaining fights constantly over in Matchroom. There ain't no just walkovers.
Yeah,
So
there's no shortcuts.
no shortcuts. And I know that Boris took a fight with guys like Lyndon and stuff on a couple of days' notice and put on a great account. You saw he could punch. He went 10 rounds, and now
Callum
he's going to have a bit of
Simpson.
notice. Callum Simpson as well. And I was like, now he's going to have as much notice as I'm going to have. So I was like, okay, so he's going to bring it. So that was the option available. You know me already. We don't duck and dive no one. So it was like, okay, cool. That's what I've got to deal with. That's what I've got to deal with. If I believe that I'm one of the best out there, then I should beat a Boris Crichton, regardless of him having going to 10 rounds with the two guys who have been active. I'm coming with inactivity, just joined a new team. 7 weeks prior to the fight, I joined Shane, and I was still able to go out there and box, deliver, and get the knockout within the 7 rounds. And I said, okay, cool. I still got it. I still got it. And then now we're here.
Yeah. Talk to me about this fight then. Like I said, I was there at the first press day for it. And you
Yeah.
could, you kind of like get a vibe for the fighters, and you could see that Willy Hutchinson was going to come with something, come with a bit of vim, a bit of purpose, something to prove. I was just looking at he's had 6 fights since 2020. He was somebody that moved up from super middle as well, kind of like
Yeah,
Boris.
he was a light heavyweight, and then
And
he
then he
took
went
the
down
weight, and that's the one he lost. Then he came back up to
against
light
Lennox
heavyweight
Clark.
against Lennox
Yeah,
Clark, and he came back
yeah.
up to light heavyweight again.
Yeah. So that fight then, I mean, I've seen a couple of things on social media where you had a little bit of a two in and a throw in out back,
Yeah.
and I've got to shout out Boxing King Media for that. I think there's two big.
Don't shout out Boxing King Media for that. Boxing King
Oh,
Media cut and edited all of his parts and cut out certain things he said because they're friends. But that's another subject. We won't go into that. But I was
oh.
disappointed in him considering the content of the things he cut out, and I'm knowing he's probably received things like that and still decided to back his friend to protect him. But that's here nor there, because I don't want to get into too much of all of that, considering I've known him for a while. But we'll move forward from that.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, if you want to elaborate on what was cut out, because obviously I saw you on the mic, and I think you was with Gareth A. Davis, the lovely Andy Clark, and you was
Yeah.
mentioning that obviously there was some like racial element to it. I don't know if you want to elaborate on that. It's up to
To be
you.
honest, at the time I was frustrated, so I came out straight from when it happened. I hit the
Right.
mic, I spoke, but to be honest, I shouldn't even have said anything because the main focus is Saturday night, and what I should have done is put my energy straight into Saturday night, punished him for the back and forth, and that's it. So I don't really want to sit too much and dwell on that, but after the fight, maybe we'll get more into that. But right now, I just want to focus on Saturday rather than make that the highlight of this week.
Yeah, and I get that, and I fully respect that. So we'll park that there. But let's talk about him as a fighter. A lot of people have said, a couple of people like, who is this guy? Oh, Craig's gonna walk straight through him. And the only reason why I bring that to your attention, Craig, is sometimes fighters like they actively grow those words so that then they start sleeping on their own abilities and get lazy and maybe think it's a walk in the park. We've seen it several times where fighters have come up short. How
Yeah.
do you like cut like us lot out, the media, whoever, the fans, and like stay focused to think, listen, I've still got to take this guy seriously?
Because I've been him. I've been him before. When I boxed Jake Ball, you ain't got a chance. GB
Okay.
pedigree, big puncher. You're coming up from super middleweight. You saw when I boxed Shakan for the British on his show, his hometown. He was the champion, unbeaten. You're not. He was the favorite in the bookie. When I boxed Higgins, he was 12-0. I was 6 fights in. He was the favorite. All these times when people doubted me, I didn't care. It was 100 people saying I was going to get written off. Does it matter? It's still me and you in the ring. So I've have to personally block out the media and watch him myself. I look at him, I say he's got certain abilities. I know he's a good fighter. So regardless of what people say, I've got to take the matter into my own hands and see he's a good fighter and take the job serious. I won't be doing these sort of camps training very heavy. If I thought he was a walk in the park, there were certain days where I had my auntie's funeral in this camp, and um, it was early morning up in Northwest, which I live nowhere near. And Shane, this is why credit to Shane, and he's a tremendous guy because he came in extra early to make sure we got my training session in, and I still made the funeral in time. If I didn't take him serious, I'd be like, "Look, Shane, my auntie's funeral. I'll see you next week." But no, we made sure we missed no sessions. Even Shane, congratulations to him. He had a baby the other day. He came from the hospital to make sure I got my work in before he went home straight afterwards, because we're not taking this fight lightly. We're taking it serious. Shane's a true professional at what he does. I'm a true professional at what I'm doing. And we're not stupid. We know how boxing works. We've seen loads of upsets throughout the time. We've seen loads of people pick him and someone else wins. It doesn't matter what the public says. You two are going to get in there and fight. And if you're not prepared, you won't win. So, no, I've not taken him lightly, to answer your question.
No, I like that. And the fact is that you've pulled Shane into it again. What is it like having someone that is solidly in your corner? You've spoke about two key elements there: death, births and deaths, and where you
Yeah,
both had to make that dual sacrifice. And it is a
sacrifice. Yeah,
sacrifice. It's family. Of
yeah.
course it is. But both
And
of you are that
I'm a big family.
dedicated.
I'm a big family man. Shane's a big family man. So if we're working around our family obligations to make sure we get that working, we are taking things very seriously. And the thing why me and Shane merge so well is because he's a workaholic the same as me. I take my job very seriously. He takes his job very seriously, and none of us cut corners. And this is why he got Trainer of the Year and why he produces the fights he produces and has them always improving. He's very intelligent at what he does. He's a good trainer, and we just get on well and we click. And that's why this journey for me, I'm looking forward to it. And I said to him the other day, it's like turning pro again. He's teaching me so much. You've got me in the mirror at home, shadow boxing, trying to practice the stuff he's been teaching me in a day. So it's like he's bringing back the excitement and the buzz to boxing for me. And it was a bit under pressure because he's teaching me a lot of new things. And when I first joined him, he showed me a lot of errors I had and what I could correct and things I could do better. And while we're working on it, it was only 7 weeks after I was fighting Boris, and I was like, am I going to get these things in time? So I was stuck between the middle passage, and I was still able to go out and deliver and put little things together. But 6 months on now, we're here, so we've been able to gel more and be better. So now I'm more excited to go out there and perform.
One of the things that is undeniable with you is that you are a boxer puncher. And when you're saying to me, there's certain things you've done better, that you've learned to do better. The untamed
Yeah,
eye, which is my eye. Yes, we can always improve, but how do
yeah,
you then adapt, like, or improve on the style when we've all got a type, haven't we? We walk a certain
yeah.
way, we run a certain way, and sometimes when that pressure's on, we tend to revert back to basics, that type. How do you instill that new training in to make sure that becomes your core and that becomes your type?
The good thing with Shane, the way he trains, he never trains every fighter the same. If you look at like Ellie Scottley, Caroline DeBar, Chris Billum Smith, myself, all of us, we've all got a complete different style. He's not a one size fits all. What he does is he brings your best assets out. So you'll have a style and he'll work on what you've got and your assets. He ain't trying to make you into someone else. He's not telling me to be Chris Billum Smith and box how Billum Smith's boxing. Oh, it worked for him, so it'll work for you. There's certain gyms, if I box him from that gym, he's going to come with this style because they've got a
Yes.
style. You box him, he's going to come with this style because that's what they will do. In Shane's gym, there isn't, oh, they're all going to do this because Shane McGuigan's got a style. No, Shane's going to get the best out of each individual fighter. And that's why I feel like being Trainer of the Year was more than deserved.
Yeah. So this fight, then, how do you see it going? I know you've got the press conference coming up. I will put this out before the press conference. Um,
Yeah.
but how do you see this fight going? You've looked him in his eyes a couple of times now. How do you see it going?
I think he's going to be reckless a little bit. I think he's going to come out. I think he's going to be nervous. He's going to be uptight. He's going to try too hard. I've just got to use my boxing ability and my skills and make sure I get the job done however I need to get the job done. And hopefully, God willing, get the stoppage on top.
Yeah. And finally, I just want to touch on two things. I'm going to put you on the spot here. Obviously, Chris Billum Smith goes in
You,
against
you're wrong. You're wrong.
goes in against Richard Riakporhe.
It's a good
I
fight.
mean,
I
Yeah,
think it was a good fight. I think like they both first fight, it was a brilliant first fight. They've both changed a lot in different ways. They've both matured as fighters and possess different things. So it's an exciting fight, and I've known obviously both guys for a long time. Chris is my stable mate. I train with him every day. I've known Richard from years back too, and I'm excited to see the fight. It's going to be a brilliant fight.
yeah. And finally, I know that you've been doing some sparring with a young up and coming heavyweight, which is Ben Whitaker. As an experienced pro that you are, you've been in the game for a bit now. What advice would you give to like the young ones coming through? One of the things that stuck out in your mind, whatever it is, the aspect in boxing that you would say is like a core belief that all fighters have to have.
I think work effort. Don't
You've
cut
got that.
corners. Like I say to all the young boys in the gym or young guys, you cut corners, you go around in circles. So I feel like don't cheat yourself. Work hard, stay dedicated, and all them little percentages when you think you close the door and have that can of Coke or that chocolate, it will share in the ring eventually.
Wow, that's it now. I'm putting all my cans of Coke and chocolate bars in the bin. Yeah, yeah. We won't talk about that. Listen, Craig, I know you're going to be busy today. I could talk to you forever. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm honoured to always have you as a guest on the channel. All the best. I'll be cheering you on from home. You know what it is. Spider,
Come
Team
on,
Spider. Um,
appreciate you. Come on.
and tell Danny to get on them reels. Tell
Yes,
him to
I'm
stop
gonna
taking. I don't
remind
want
him.
to see food. I don't want to see pictures of food. I want to see what Craig Richards is doing.
He's been posted breakfast, lunch, and dinner, hasn't he?
What is wrong with him? I don't
Nah,
care.
he likes to track everything he does. He's good with the socials. I'll tell him just to divert a little bit.
He,
He's done quite well though. He's done a good
he
couple
has.
few reels this week.
He has.
A day in life a couple of times. A lot of the moments I've got has been from him, to be honest. Him sending me stuff to the phone. So I got to give him his credit. He's doing well.
Yeah. Well, I'll be catching up. So try and jump on because I'll be speaking to
Yeah,
Danny post fight on Sunday. So it'd be good to get you on as well. But listen, I've taken up
okay.
far too much of your time.
That's fine.
But yeah, all the best. Fight night.
Thank Appreciate you.
People say I'm toxic, and honestly, I don't care.